Hi everyone, I'm Heather, and we are going to spend a few minutes talking about lavender oil today. Just a quick touch on this. Most of us know lavender is for calming. We've seen it appear in baby products, whether it's a lotion for nighttime or a baby bath for nighttime. Typically those are synthetic forms of lavender, and this is going to be a natural, pure form of lavender from doTERRA. Other ways that we can use it. We can use it on skin, all things skin. Sunburns. This has changed my life. I used to get sunburns as a child and I would put aloe on, which would kind of take some of the burn out, but then I'd have to keep reapplying and it'd be sticky and all. This has changed my life. I can put a few drops in the tub and just sit in there if I'm a little bit pink from the sun, and it just cools it down, takes that heat out of the burn, and it's gone. If I burn myself in the kitchen, which I did, I was cooking soup one time, and anyway, it slid. Somehow I ended up dumping the boiling soup all over my hands, and my fingers were bright red. And I remember thinking, well, I've been teaching this for a while. Hopefully this is true, right? So I pulled out my lavender and I actually made a little roller bottle, just put it in a roller and with some coconut oil, and I just kept rolling it on my fingers, and the next day, no pink, no red, no scarring left years later. It's amazing. It immediately pulls that heat out of that burn. It's so fantastic. Trying to think of more ways that I use this. So many ways. It's a great antihistamine. So when I went camping with some girls in the forest, and some of the girls were having really bad allergy problems, and they'd taken Benadryl, but it wasn't time to take more Benadryl yet, and they had to wait, but their eyes were really swollen shut. They were just around a lot of plants that they weren't normally around, that they obviously were reacting to. We were able to take lavender and do a wide circle around the eyes, not in the eyes, not too close, just a wide circle around the eyes, and they were able to open their eyes. Amazing. So many fantastic uses for lavender. I like to use lavender with the peppermint that we talked about yesterday for my headaches. When I get a headache or I feel it coming on, I put that lavender and peppermint right on the back of my neck and it takes it right away. So many fantastic uses. One of the biggest ways that I have used lavender, and I'll wrap up with this, is eczema. If you know anybody who's dealt with eczema, that can be a really frustrating thing to deal with. And I remember my little one, his eczema would flare up and we'd use the steroid creams from the doctor and it would go down, but it'd flare back up. And the doctor told me the steroid creams weren't going to resolve it, just would help it. And hopefully he'd outgrow it long term, or he might just have to use them forever. But steroid creams, while they have benefits, also come with risk. And that was one of the scariest things, is not knowing long-term what we were doing to his skin. And I remember when I started using oils, that was one of the first things I wanted to work on. And I made a roller with lavender and a little bit of tea tree, put it in that roller, and every time he'd get out of the bath, every time morning and night, we would just apply it whenever we thought about it, in the creases of his elbows, and behind his knees, right here on his face, behind his ears, he seemed to get it, and we just would apply it. And after probably a year or two, we don't even have to use it anymore. Now I don't know how many years later, 9 years later, I've been using oils. So probably about 7 years after finishing that, he has no issues with eczema. We don't even have to use it anymore. So lavender has been one of my favorites. And I'm going to share just a fun fact with you. Years ago, my mom started using different essential oils she would get at the store, and she'd dabble with them. And I remember that she would make me this eye pillow for headaches. And I'm like, Mom, with the lavender. And I'd say, Mom, it's giving me a headache. Like, I can't do this. And I remember thinking, I must not be okay with lavender. Lavender just must not work for me. It's not a good fit. And so when I started using doTERRA oils, I was like, oh, go ahead and pass that on. Lavender's not my thing. Go ahead and pass that along. I just can't use it. And one day I did go ahead and smell it, and I noticed that this one didn't give me a headache. And that was my first experience with understanding the difference between synthetic and natural, and realizing that the synthetic oils my mom had been using did give me problems, and I would get headaches and it would just bother me. But doTERRA's lavender doesn't give me any of those issues, and I'm super grateful for that. So anyway, loving lavender. I didn't share how I use it for sunburn other than in the bath. You can also put it in a spray bottle with some water and just spritz it right on that sunburn. This goes with me everywhere, a vacation, everywhere. I have to take lavender with me because it's so versatile, so needed. There's so many uses for it, and I've got to have it in my bag always. If you have any questions, please post them below. If you have any comments, ways that you've used it or ways you like to use it, please share that as well. And the more you interact with us, the more you're going to see the post pop up in your newsfeed. So please interact. Plus, we've got some giveaways. We like to do that based on people commenting, and we pull tickets and throw tickets in for every comment that you make and however you participate so that you can win some fun giveaways. But we definitely want you to be able to see these posts and get the information. So have a great day.